Okay, we got a few Axeman Anderson projects going on here. Let's take a look at the wood boiler one. A friend of mine has a house. He's heating the house, the garage, an outbuilding that he's heating, and it's probably close to 5,000 square feet. He heats it with a Mahoning 500 wood boiler, and he wants to convert to an Axeman Anderson next year. And then we came up with the idea of it probably would be pretty easy to stick an Axeman 130 in the basement of his outbuilding, which is close to where the wood boiler is. The wood boiler is on the porch outside the outbuilding, so there's only about 8 foot of PEX run that runs into the basement, but there'll be more piping after that to get to the Axeman Anderson. So the idea is to just pump from the Axeman Anderson into the wood boiler and see how well it does. So we've got this 1991 Axeman here, which has already had the domestic coil plated over, and the boiler's in really good shape. It doesn't need anything. I got it flushed out and all cleaned off yesterday. And this is the base. Base needs a little going over to get all the rust off of it, and we'll hose some paint on it. And we've got a few bolts that we've got to grind off and drill and tap out. Mainly the 4 bolts that hold the boiler to the base. So it's that one, that one, that one, and that one. And then the rear plate is held on by 2 bolts, one of which is broke off. So we'll have to take care of that too. And the gearbox mounts here, and one of those bolts is broke off, and down here's where the bracket for the foot bolts on, and that one's broken off. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 7 we got to drill and tap out. Then we'll wire wheel this all down and degrease it and hose some, I think we're going to do shiny black on this base. It'll probably hide some of the dirt better. And we're going to wire wheel this all down, the boiler, and that'll probably get painted shiny silver. And that's what we're doing for the next, well, probably tomorrow and this evening. We're going to get to work grinding these bolts down and start drilling and tapping and stuff. Okay, we got our drilling and tapping done. As you can see, we drilled out for the boiler mounting holes and tapped them. These were all 5/16 18. And what I like to do with all these, since normally they're screwed down into the boiler, and this is a nasty kind of environment in here, because it's full of ash and stuff, so the bolts tend to get eaten away underneath here, and there's not much left on top, so whenever you try to remove them, they just snap, and they're not really holding that much tension anyway. So it's a little scary, because that's what holds the boiler on. If you pick it up by the boiler, you get all this weight pushing down on it, you could break those bolts. So what I like to do is thread the bolt in from the bottom. That way, when you attach whatever you're attaching, in this case it's the boiler, you just put a flat washer, lock washer, and a nut on top of it. And it'll take a lot longer for the head of this bolt to get eaten away than the threads would. So that's the way we did those four, and we'll do the back doorway the same way. And this is the mount for the gearbox mount where it screws on. Here's an example of what bolts look like. You can see that end there doesn't have any threads left on it anymore. It's been eaten away by fly ash and moisture. So they'll have studs sticking out. And the foot mount point we'll do the same thing with. And that's it for this evening. Tomorrow it looks like we'll be able to do some grinding, cleaning, and wire wheeling and degreasing and get this thing all ready for paint. And then we'll move on to the boiler. There's not much the boiler needs that I can think of. Gotta scrape the stuff out of where the Pope's hat goes in the top, and where the transfer head was sealed. It's got, you know, a bunch of black silicone on there, so that'll all have to get scraped and ground off, and just wire wheel it down and hose some paint on it. All right, more tomorrow.